We call our temple here the Comey Street Cave. We give this class, present this class every week, 6 to 8 o'clock on Thursday night, and it's recorded and put it on our website, whydharma.org. And it's streamed Zoom worldwide. I'm Lama Tashi. Tonight's class is in the Sutra Tantra tradition of Tibetan Buddhism, which is all about healing. And tonight our program is the 5 Taras, and we'll be using Prajnaparamita, the third mantra, the Buddha image of the Tara, and we'll do a 5 elements practice using that air element and the 3 lights. And before we start, I want to announce we just printed up another 1,000 of the story of all of us, even though you can buy them on Amazon. We would rather you order them either through our Dharma Center or through Lama Rinpoche's Dharma Center in Honolulu. And his address is, if you want, call me or ask Abby and we'll give you his address to order these. They're $8 each. Also, we did a reprint on, I can see the flea on your nose, but I can't see the yak on my nose, which is Lama Rinpoche's autobiography of how he lived in Tibet up until he came to Honolulu in the 70s.
Just email me for all info.
Abby.
abi@aloha.net.
Okay. Here. Now this, something just fell on the floor. This class is celebrated here during the holidays. But for us, everything is a holy day. Holiday is a weird take on the word holy. But we do have holly trees. I know because I lived in Seattle and there was many. But holy days, this time of year, the winter season, which is celebrated with the Tibetan tradition of Buddha's birthday, but in the Japanese tradition, Buddha's birthday is called Bodhi Day. And we have 10 temples on Kauai, and thousands of Japanese live here. And each of these temples is a representation of Buddhism that spread in Japan on many different islands. So we have the Jodo, the Hongwanji, the Zen, and so forth. And we have 7 priests. One of them is a nun, 4 monks, and the rest are householders, just like in the Tibetan tradition. And they practice what they call the Sutra tradition, and a little bit of Tantra. But meditation is not really part of the practice in most of the Japanese, except at the higher level of the teacher. But in the Zen tradition, you have to practice meditation. That's the key. The same as it is in Tibetan Buddhism. So when we say Bodhi Day in the Japanese, that's the path of the Bodhisattva. So this Sunday they asked me to give a teaching on enlightenment as we, Tibetan Buddhists, use it as Bodhisattva. So I did, and I gave the teaching at their Jodo mission, which is 6 blocks down the street from our house. And all the priests were there, about 100 people in this temple. And the theme was a taste of enlightenment, because that's what they asked me to talk about. But I said, enlightenment for us is like, here in Hawaii, we have all different kinds of lovely trees and plants, and we have a big picnic celebration on Kauai called Taste of Kauai, or Taste of Hawaii, actually. and then thousands of people come. Well, this taste of enlightenment is spiritual food. So that's the theme, and that's the way I presented it. And we did actual practice. We did the Om Ahum and did other practices. And I have their brochure, and I'm going to read it after we take refuge, because they chant what is called the verse of the four vows of the Bodhisattva. And in Japanese, it's Shisei J. I don't understand a lot of Japanese, except for arigato, which means thank you. Same as mahalo, or juchiche in Tibetan. And we're going to do our refuge prayer, then I'm going to read their refuge prayer. So we'll start with refuge. When we start with refuge, I always chant the first part, which is the altruistic motivation to bring all beings to enlightenment. I chant that, the Lama chants that in Sanskrit to invite the spirits, which are a great part of our practice for healing. Dadang Joa Namge Dadang Yampe Semchen Tamche Duvine Jumbe Jisi Jenshu Tenko Lachi Kimpadi. Then we'll chant the refuge prayer together. Walden Mama Namba Nama Japsu Chiyo Vedam Shokor Givato Nama Japsu Chiyo Sanjay Shom Jende Nama Japsu Chiyo Sanjay Shur Nama Japsu Chiyo Sanjay Sanjay Kendu Nama Japsu Chiyo Now Kanjo Jokyong Chumne Sho Yesheki Shendong Genpa Nam Shamsu Kiro. No chant the Bodhisattva prayer. Sanjay Chodam Choki Chodam Mahate Bardu Sadi Shamsu Kiro. Yagi Jinso Jite Sonam Ki Shalom Tenter Sanjay Jumari. In the first prayer, the altruistic motivation, we'll read that. In order to attain enlightenment for ourselves and limited sentient beings or others, we now all together take refuge and offer prostration. We go for refuge to all the glorious holy ones. We go for refuge to all of the idams who are the deities gathered in our mandala practice. We go for refuge to all the Buddhas, those who have conquered mind and gone beyond. We go for refuge to all of this supreme Dharma. We go for refuge to all the noble Sangha. And we go for refuge to all the Dakas and Dakinis who are the defenders and protectors and defenders of the Dharma. All of these have the eye of transcending awareness. And to the Buddha, Dharma, and this Supreme Assembly we go for refuge until enlightenment. May I, to merit gained from practicing the six Bodhisattva perfections, accomplish Buddhahood to the state of all beings. Now those two, the refuge prayer and the Bodhisattva prayer, it's recommended to say each and 3 times at the start of practice, either in English or Sanskrit. And if you do the prostrations, you do the prostrations with the refuge prayer, visualizing the refuge tree. And the refuge prayer with the prostration and visualizing the refuge tree in front, and your root lama in the center as Vajradhara. Then You say that in either English or Tibetan. So I'm explaining this because some people say, why do we offer prostration? Actually, prostrations is one of the most powerful tantric yoga practices of the Tibetan tradition and was instituted by Padmasambhava in the 8th century. And then people ask, what is this term Buddhism? Well, in those countries, there was no Buddhism. There was only the Buddha and people who had memorized the Buddha's teachings of his 45 years of teaching. So they said, well, how did they reference it? Well, the reference was a word that means awareness, and that word is Dharma, which we're taking refuge in. Well, the Dharma is what the Buddha taught. All the sutras, all the tantras, and all the teachings on the nature of mind we call voidness is the Dharma. And Dharma is 2 words. Dar or Da means the patterning of what appears, reality. And Ma means the mother. And when we say that, what we're referencing is the 2 realities of truth. So Dharma really means truth. And we have 2 truths that are innate in all of us. And when I say all is human. And it's also in the animals and spirits, but they can't access one of them. But we humans, we can access the ultimate truth of our natural situation, of this natural world that's around us. And when we do that, we modify or remove the relative truth. That's the practice of the Dharma. And that's so we're not Buddhism, we're Dharmaism. So anyway, now I'm going to read the first of the 4 vows that we chanted with all the teachers in Sangha of the Japanese tradition to show you how similar their culture is to the Tibetan culture. I have established, this is the Buddha's words. Remember, they practice sutra. I have established these unsurpassed vows and shall, without fail, reach the ultimate path of true enlightenment. If these vows are not fulfilled in practice, may I never attain this state of insight called enlightenment. Should I, for countless aeons, not become a great benefactor of Dharma, and practice to relieve all those in poverty, suffering, and pain, may I not attain perfect enlightenment. When I reach the path of the Buddha, my natural mind, my name shall resound in the 10 directions with that realization. Should there be a place in which it cannot be heard, may I not attain this state of perfect enlightenment. Abandoning desire with profound right mindfulness and the other 7 practices of pure wisdom, which I shall cultivate, may pure practice be the result. I shall intently pursue the ultimate path to become a teacher to all celestials and human beings. Buddha, Lokeshvara, like you, a Buddha's divine power radiates forth a great light that completely illuminates limitless lands and worlds, eliminating the darkness of the 3 defilements of greed, anger, and delusion, in order to lead all beings out of this state of samsara and suffering, called suffering. Opening the eyes of wisdom to extinguish the darkness of ignorance and remove all obstructions and harmful paths, to provide an easy path to the gate of fortunate destiny. fully endowed with all the virtues of the Buddha's majestic radiance, may this light shine brightly in the 10 directions as a result of my practice, outshining the sun and moon, eclipsing the brilliance of the heavens. It's for the sake of all beings, animals, humans, and spirits that inhabit this world. The Buddha opens the Dharma storehouse and widely shares its treasures of virtue through all the masters and teachers and guides of these traditions. Among all those who have gathered, the Buddha always expounds the Dharma like a lion's roar. The lion's roar refers to the powerful preaching of the Buddha's Dharma. Making offerings to all Buddhas and becoming endowed with all roots of virtue, with the vows of wisdom perfected through practice, may I as a Buddha become the hero of the 3 realms, the realm of sensuous desire, form, and the formless realms of pure spirit. Like the unimpeded wisdom of the Buddha that reaches and shines upon all, I vow that the power of my virtue and practice and development of insight will be equal to the most vulnerable one, Buddha Shakyamuni. If these vows are not realized and my practice not attained, when it is, may the whole universe tremble with joy and bliss. And from the sky, all celestial beings will rain down rare and wonderful flowers, which we are now offering to the Buddha today. And that was chanted in Japanese by the master of the Jodo mission, Reverend Ishiwara, Kosen Ishikawa. Excuse me. So you can see that their aims are very similar to ours. The tradition is being upheld of the Bodhisattva. And bodhicitta, which means the Bodhisattva's development of awareness or mind, is being practiced. And so all I did was add a little tantra, shamanism, to that hour-long presentation that they honored me with giving to their sangha. And I was greatly honored. And I wore my robes also, which was the first time I ever did that in public on this island. Hooray. Now tonight, so that you have some understanding of why we do the 3 lights, the 5 elements, and then add in what we call the Tantric Sutra and Tantric tradition of the Dakinis, Dharma protectors, and Yidams, which we call deities. These all fall under the heading of what we call 5 dhyana Buddhas. D means light, yana means vehicle. Buddha categories, which incorporate the antidote to treat the cause of pain and suffering, which is simply our emotional program. And that isn't very simple. But by categorizing these 5 in the 5 Dhyana Buddha states of practice, Dharma, we quickly understand our own tendency. But what is important about this, the way the Tibetans took the Dharma from the Indian Maha cities and condensed it to cover these 84,000 emotional afflictions, was bringing it down to what they call Mahamudra. the state of your consciousness that has no emotional tendency. Better said, or more simply said, no judgment call. And it is a program. But it is the kind of program that doesn't have a player. I mean, it's in a logarithm, but it's like, well, the way the computer operates. In other words, you have these zeros and ones, and they go in there and they do something to your TV or your cell phone or the computer, like what we're doing tonight with codes. Well, that's what we're doing. But these codes, these 5 dhyana codes, 5 states of natural mind applied to your emotional program, are treating the cause of your pain and suffering. They're treating the cause of disease. And it's the only tradition that has come up with this healing program that does that. And this doesn't say you still can't take care of your emotional programs and attain states of peace and tranquility, but there's more going on beyond that level of accomplishment of peace and tranquility, because that's a symptomatic antidote to pain and suffering. Being peaceful, being calm, being kind and considerate. That's a symptomatic. And all medicine of all traditions, including Tibetan Buddhism, are symptomatic. That means they're treating you out here. But what we attempt to do with these 5 dhyana Buddha logarithms, code, is go to the cause and cut the root of pain and suffering so that it can't evolve into our lives, situation. And how does it do that? Well, it's easy to understand, but hard to do that, but I'm going to make it simple. I'm an interpreter. I'm not a translator. I'm an interpreter. So it's my job and with my ability to condense all this voluminous sutra, tantra, teaching unnatural mind stuff into one simple, as Abby asked me, fifth instruction, one-liner. Give me a one-liner. She's putting a picture on Facebook or something. Give me a one-liner. So this one-liner was given to me by a 21-year-old Lama named Karma Dorji, who came to Kauai and gave teachings. And I asked him, give me a one-liner. We had a big group of people there. And we were doing this Mahamudra practice, which is probably the simplest, but at the same time hard to do. And he said, well, in your words, in your language, he says, your pain and suffering is caused by the emotional conflict of your own mind, and this is creating your world with all this disturbances. But you should know that the one-liner is simply your judgment of what you are sensing or thinking about. So these thoughts in this body that you possess are dictating to you through the sensual energies, see, smell, taste, touch, feel, hearing, and your thoughts, that you have predetermined that when you see something you like, you judge it good. When you see something you don't like, you judge it bad. You also have all this religious dichotomy, which states that things are high and supernatural and supreme and all of that, which is not true. And then you have this other that judges thing as inferior, even your own mind or body. and that creates jealousy. The one that's saying everything is high or supreme is not true, because there is no such thing as supernatural. Everything is natural. Everything is equal. And if you don't know that, then you have the fifth problem, which is ignorance. So it's the judgment of your mind that's causing the emotional conflict attached to your thoughts as a habit, and to your sensations of your see, cells, taste, touch, and feel as a habit. So we're junkies.
So what's the one-liner?
The one-liner is your drama mind, the relative truth of the drama is that you have awareness of this drama. And everybody has awareness. You can't function as a human being without awareness, otherwise you're not very human. And the other aspect of your consciousness which doesn't recognize the ignorant one, doesn't judge. There's no judgment. So it's easy to understand your whole situation, and the cause of all your trouble is your judgmental mind connecting to the drama world and everybody and everything in it, including your body and so forth. And your non-judgmental mind, which exists in the same consciousness, is not doing that. He says, that's it. Judgmental mind is the mind of cause of pain and suffering. Non-judgmental mind is the absence of pain and suffering and is causing. How's that for a one-liner?
That's good. Sums it right up.
That sums it up. So Abby, there you go. Put it out there. End of class tonight. Have some tea. So we'll take a moment to contemplate that one line. Drama mind is judgmental. Natural mind is non-judgmental. There's a big, thick book someplace over there. Did you put them away? Yeah, that one. So sit for a moment, wherever you are, laying down, standing up, sitting on your cushion or couch. And I'm going to read you the one-liner from this book called The Essential Nature of Dharma, as this man wrote it all down over 50 years of everything he could find out about the Buddha's Dharma teaching. And it's not titled Buddha's anything, it just says the essential Dharma information. And I'm reading this book. I started with the back and then I read some of the middle, and now I'm reading the front part. But at the very front of this book, after that much reading, I had to make a note, a one-liner. And I signed my name to it too. And it's not out of arrogance, it's just, this is my job. And it says, all of this information, which covers everything you ever want to know about Buddhism, which you're afraid to ask for the Dharma. This is my statement. This is all about transforming one's judgmental mind's tendencies into a clear state of non-judgmental activity while in the human body or condition. It gives me body wish, because I don't know where that goes. Contemplate that. It doesn't mean just think about it or chew on it like a dog chews on a bone. It means to do it in such a way that you take it to heart. Yes, it's pretty heady, but the heart mind has a nicer way of dealing with it. And then you let all of that gradually disappear where everything goes into void, into space. That place in your consciousness where there's no judgment. It's called the state of clear light or clarity. And it has its own qualities, which are not available in the drama world, but which you can apply to your life situation in the drama world. And so now we're going to do that. And we're going to start with what I introduced Sunday, was the three lights. But in the Tantric tradition, we're using the vibration of sound in our voice as part of the Tantric practice, which they do in the sutra, but they don't use it with codes or colors. They sound them and they take them to heart and they meditate or contemplate. But you want to light up your mind more with what the natural world is doing around you, like these beautiful flowers that Mark brought to class tonight. Codes. See, nature has its codes. The sky is blue, the ocean, and the trees are green, and the earth is whatever, yellow, green, white, sand. We have red earth here and white. The air is the energy of the rainbows, because that's where they appear, the moisture in the air, and so forth. And then to add to that, we have the vibratory energy of the codes of those colors, what they do to us as we take it into our eyes, nose, mouth, tasting, hearing, and feeling. And we're doing that in this tradition with the Sutra and Tantra practices of the Buddha's information. So when you breathe, we right away go to the Tantric process of energy itself, which is based on what already exists as vibratory energy of the air, which without it, you're dead. You have to have a little bit of a sense of humor. But that's one of the values of the sacredness of the air. And incorporated into the air is the earth element, is dust or whatever, moisture in the air, that's the humidity, the smell, you know, That's the space. The sound, because air makes sound, you can hear the breeze or the wind, and so forth. When you take this air in, you are actually taking in the energy of its divine or sacred aspect, which is not supernatural. In no way. And even when we apply that element to the Tara practice of the Sutra tradition, again, we're simply using codes to retrain the mind how it affects the health of our body with what is called energy, hormonal or whatever. They're simply activated by the brain to secrete through every cell in our body. And if we use karma right now, that means tendency. That's what Buddha told us to do. And the karma of this is that if it's negative or harmful, what you're sensing or thinking, that energy is passed through your body, through nadis or channels, we call channels. The blood being one, of course. But what it does is it inhibits the life force of your cells right down to the DNA. So the life force and the DNA are both affected because one is in support or of the other. And then the opposite is true if you have positive or powerful appropriate tendencies, which is what Tantra is all about. And again, it secretes the right kind of energy in the form of light, space, but also actual hormonal substance. They go to every cell in your body, right down to the DNA. Now, what is the DNA? I don't know. Can't find it, but they got a squiggly chart of it, and it's a code. And its nature is a logarithm graph. And this code is read or defined as the space between the lines of the DNA. They don't read the DNA, they read the space of each DNA, whatever it is. Can't say molecule because it's finer than that. And that's working with the other nature of your consciousness, your natural mind. So the more you improve on this other state of consciousness and connect to it, which is what bodhisattvas do, you're in a state called Bodhisattva Training School. But this Bodhisattva Training School is the warriors' Bodhisattva Training School. This is so that you get there fast. Yes, you can do it with the peace and tranquility and be an arhat and enjoy the pleasures and space and light and of the celestial realms in your next life and this life. Yes, you can do that. But to gain non-judgmental mind will take you thousands of lifetimes. Yes, you can do the Sutra tradition and practice all of that and gain great insight and good health, and everything you need appropriately works. It's called a wish-fulfilling jewel. But to get to the natural state of non-judgmental mind will take many lifetimes. Not so many as the arhat. But when you move to the Tantra, based on the Sutra and Hinayana, with the guidance of a Tantric teacher, a Lama, which means law, honorable mom, mother, spiritual friend, however you want to think of that, that's what Lama means. man or woman. When you have this guide, that guide is practicing all three vehicles. The Hinayana, the Mahayana, and the Vajrayana. And those are to recode your mind right down to the DNA of your physical body. And what is the key is practice. If you don't practice, you cannot do that. You cannot reach that realization of your true nature. You cannot be liberated from your egocentric subject-object dichotomy. You cannot. Sorry. If you want to play the piano, you gotta be able to read the music or transmit the sound of what you hear through the keys of the piano. I know, because I did that. Cello, violin, I did all those things when I was a little kid. At the insistence of my parents. Did I like it? No, not very much. But I did it, and it worked. Reprogram my DNA or something. Vibration. So here's what we're doing. The air, the elements have two codes in Tibetan Buddhism. They're called shamanistic codes. And this tradition is only about healing, physically, mentally, emotionally, and most importantly, spiritually. Your what? Your body, speech, and mind. Of these conflicts that you've been conditioned to think are necessary to do. From the womb to now. So we're going to start with the air element, and that is the code that's available to everybody because everybody's sharing the air, all us humans and animals. And this can be taught by anybody or done by anybody. You don't really have to have the guidance and so on. I learned it in Chinese Taoism and with Tai Chi Chuan, and my teacher, Lily Sue, in Honolulu, said, now do this. And heal yourself. So we're going to do this. And when we apply it to the sutra, that's an advanced Bodhisattva training school practice mode, not for everybody. Back straight to start with. Eyes open, at least half open, like the Buddha images show. Maybe a little smile on your face. Smirk. Head's a little bit tilted forward because we're lining up energy centers in the body with the head. Hands in a comfortable position on the knees. I like palms down. Or in your lap, right on top of lap. Thumbs touching. That's another one. Or if you're laying in bed, just have be comfortable. Then bring your focus to your breathing. And simply start at the basic level of following the inhale and the exhale. Moderate pace. You don't have to breathe fast or slow, just what feels natural. Inhale. Notice the diaphragm expanding. Exhale. They say it's best to breathe out your nose, but mouth breathing is okay. Now I practiced just this month, this much, for 6 months in a cave in North Shore, Oahu. No codes, just focusing on the breath. And I noticed that I became more and more present, not only during those times that I was doing that practice, but also when I was out in the natural world, surfing or snorkeling or swimming or hiking or whatever. But in this tradition, we code the breath. And we do it purposely to deal with the emotional program right down, as I said before, to the finest aspect of our being. Life force and DNA. So you inhale the air that you're breathing by bringing your focus with your imagination that the air you are breathing is light, and you code the light as white light, and you fill your lungs with it. The energy from the air, which are 5 energies, are passed through your body, and that code for that is to visualize those energies going to every cell in your body now is red light. That's the code. Then you gather these two together, but this is what the body's doing. And the upper breath out the nose or the mouth is blue light, visualized going to space as a powerful healing breath that can be attached to your speech or not. For everybody in your world. So blue light to space. Inhale white light, fill your lungs. The energies of that red light through your body, every cell. You can include your hair. Gather the two together and exhale blue light to space. A powerful healing breath. The Hawaiians use the word ha. The Tibetans use the word, and the Indians, ho. Now you are meditating with the code of the natural world, just as it is. Integrating the 5 elements through the air you are breathing, and transforming it in a kind and considerate way to share with everybody else, including the plant world, which are not sentient beings. And if you can't meditate on anything else that we do in these sessions, this one will carry you very close to having good experiences that will help you with understanding and using your natural mind. and maybe with some of your emotional problems. Keep that. In any case, now we're going to move on to the second part of the practice, which is integrating the elements themselves with focus and imagination to fulfill the three functions of Bodhisattvaism. Based on the ideas of what the Buddha taught, of relative and ultimate loving kindness. Or better said, interest in the well-being of others, all others, and the environment. This planet, Mother Earth. So gather the three lights together in your mind by taking your focus off the breath and centering in the heart mind, in the center of your heart chakra, which is in the center of your chest, a tiny particle of clear light similar to an atom is connecting to the basic energy of the life force of the universe, space. You just kind of relax. By focusing on that particle, it helps to keep you present, away from the distraction of future events and past events, and connects you to that completely non-judgmental mother element space. And when you've soaked up some of that, then you keep your imagination and focus together by expanding that particle of light into a small sphere of clear light, as small as you can imagine, like a tiny bubble. Then expanding that bubble until it reaches the size of your element that you are choosing for healing. It can be any one of the five. And tonight we are choosing the air or gas element. So as this little sphere of bubble of energy expands, it changes into the symbol of that, which is a half sphere of green light, like a bowl with a lid, about the size of your thumbnail, right in the center of your heart chakra, your chest. And keeping your focus and your imagination together, this will become your psychic healing energy for this program, for this 5-element healing practice. Simply visualize it move out in front of your body and up before your eyes, about 2 feet in front. And see that small symbol of green light labeled air with your 3 eyes. Then increase it in size with your imagination so that large enough that you can see your body comfortably sitting inside. maybe the size of the room you're in or smaller. If you're outside, beyond your reach. And there you are sitting in this green half sphere of light labeled air. And taking its energies into your form body, just as you are, in whatever condition you find yourself in. And you're applying the full healing power of your mind to your form with the healing energy of the element of your world. Then, because we are bodhisattvas, we are going to share it. So with our imagination and focus, we expand it in size to completely enclose the island of Kauai, including the surrounding ocean and air. Or the town, city, or area, a large area of where you are doing this practice. In meditating further, we expanded in size to completely enclose Mother Earth, including her atmosphere of air. Then share it further by expanding it in size to completely enclose our solar system, which is said to be billions of miles in diameter. Then expand it in size to completely enclose our spiral disc-shaped galaxy, a mere 100,000 light years in diameter. Then move into the boundless natural space with this symbol to include this universe of space and light. That's beyond your conceptual mind's ability. So just rest in space. Relax. No meditation necessary. In this way, you can easily contemplate your Dharmakaya nature, your all-pervasive, unlimited potential of mind. Since the nature of our world is beginningless and endless, just accept that timeless nature and return with your meditation and your focus to again encompass the galaxy with this symbol of healing energy, the half sphere of green light, air. Reduce it in size to just enclosing your solar system. And much smaller to just encompassing Mother Earth. Smaller and smaller to just enclosing the island of Kauai. And tinier and tinier to just enclosing your physical form. Taking all the life force energy into your body. Of the infinite aspects of the five elements. And their healing potential. And to finish, again imagine a sphere 2 feet in front of your eye, small as your thumbnail. Bring it to chest level and into your heart chakra, your heart mind. Shrink it to a small sphere of clear light and to a tiny particle connecting to space. And relax. In the present moment of timeless awareness. Contemplate. This loving, kind, considerate activity to yourself. To that body which you have borrowed for a very short period of time. Into your mind's consciousness, which has no beginning, middle, or end. Then bring your awareness to in front of your eyes into your room and take a break. Oh yeah, keep smiling. Now my comment about some of this, what activity that we are sharing of the Buddha's information program that he presented 2,600 years ago, is that as you do these practices and extend your awareness more and more of what you are internalizing outside with whatever lifestyle you're enjoying, you might notice that time, being illusory, is moving faster. Events, morning to evening to dawn the next day. Day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. Why do you get this sensation of things moving faster, which they are, actually, according to whatever the universe has in store for us, is because of your awareness. You're starting to notice more and more of how this interconnection of everything doesn't have a time sequential arrangement. And it starts to get trippy. That's a trippy word, based on the use of LSD and other psychotropics. But this world has been distorted by your judgment. And now you are starting to release yourself from your judgment. And in the process, from the emotional conflict of your own mind, which you've been blaming everybody else in the world around you as the cause. And it's not. So as you get this release, you start to feel a sense of freedom, a sense of liberation. And actually, what you've done is you've liberated yourself from the concept of time. And in doing the process, your body, your cells, your DNA, all of it, is adjusting. And in some cases, you are actually reversing your aging process. Now, I can attest to it, because I'm 81 years old, and I'm not 81. Now, I'm not bragging, I'm just saying that there's some, it's okay to die healthy. We don't know which comes first, the next breath or the next life. We contemplate that, impermanent. And we imply that thought to everything. That's part of the Bodhisattva training school. And that, the Dalai Lama, he laughs when he teaches that. He said, yeah, well, personally, I'm going to live to 113. I recommend it. But at the same time, I don't know which comes first, the next life or the next breath. The next breath or the next life. Ooh. Tell that to your children. I mean, he told it to the Senate and House of the United States when he gave them a blessing. I don't think they got it because they haven't changed. My way of dealing with that level of consciousness is to see them all as what we call manjushri. But in any case, when we move with this Om, these three breaths, we are moving in the direction of non-judgmental mind, which has three Buddha fields, three energy programs, three algorithms. The first one is the nature of the light of the elements that we are inhaling as a state of clarity applied to what? To the way we think and the way we sense things, our interactions with everybody. And we keep the theme of loving kindness and concern for their well-being as the foundation. And that Buddha field is simply, everything is that. Everything you can sense or think about is a state of pattern. That's the Om, which we visualize as white, attached to the inhale. And where do we put this is in the head. Why do we do that? Because that's the way we receive it from our Lama, man or woman master who already does this. A Lama will only teach you what they are practicing. Okay, and that transmission comes mind to mind. mental to mental. Then the ah is the sound of nature, which is what is this energy of these elements doing to our DNA? Is the red light energy going through your body vibrates. And in Tantra, it produces this code, ah. And it looks a little bit like the Om, but it doesn't have a V with a dot above it. Kind of looks like a funny 31, 3V or something, you know, Sanskrit. And then we gather these two, just like when we breathe and we exhale out the nose, boom, blue light to space. So that the energy of those two, your mental and physical, are to benefit every living being in the world around you, your environment. That's the home. And the home is the sound of the medicine Buddhas, healing energy to treat not only symptomatically, but the cause of every kind of dysfunction, every kind of blockage, every kind of disease. Physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. So it's good to teach the children to draw these three letters. They like to, we had coloring books for Bodhisattva kids, and we had page after page of deities and these codes and stuff, and they got to color it all in. That was how we trained them on Maui in our drama stuff. So it's pretty neat. And we did it in some of the schools. In the Hawaiian immersion program, they have they're on quiet, and they have a very similar method. But now we're going to practice. But this is a transmission code of the body, speech, and mind of the teacher into you, so that you add power, which is what the energy is for, to accomplish what the reason for being a bodhisattva. And then you can easily give it to others. We do this in grade school, high school, and the university here on Kauai and Maui. I don't know where they do it anywhere else, but we do that. So we're going to do this. And then the result is those three become the five Dhyana Buddha consorts of the five elements. So we have 5 taras. Now we have a little coloring book here for kids to show them that Prema puts out on Maui. This is for training us and the children. And it's simplified, but it's practical. So when we do these codes into the 5 Dhyana Buddhas and their consorts, we're working with the consort energy, which represents the spiritual nature of the universe. Because all of these earth, water, fire, air, and space are mother energy programs and mother algorithms for our consciousness. And they have vibration sounds. So I have them written here, how they appear in Sanskrit. So Ram is actually used in Hindu and other traditions. And it looks like a letter I with a dot, a kind of a tilted I. And then Lam looks like a Z, elongated Z with a 1 after. Almost like a squiggly 21. That represents the earth. So we have the fire and the earth. The Ram is a squiggly square with a dot over it. And by the way, the dot is the mother sound, the M, the like when you do ice cream. And then that's the space. And then the air is Yam, which looks like a funny W with a dot over it, or maybe 2 V's attached together. And then Mom, which is the water element, looks like a 21 with the dot. And they each have their own color code. So the Ram is red, the Lam is gold or yellow, the Vam of space is white, the Yam is green, which is the one we just did with the air element, and Mam is blue, or dark blue, or black, which I wrote these in black. And now we're going to do the practice of the Tara with the 5 color coded with those 5 sounds. Any question? Question? Ringo, any question? Ringo. Start with the 3 light breathing technique. Inhale white light into your lungs. Hear the sound Om. With the middle breath held, you hear red light passing through every cell in your body. You hear the sound Ah. Then as you exhale with the combination of these two out the nose, the blue light to space, you hear the sound Hum, which treats the cause of your judgmental mind. Inhale, Om. Absorption breath through the body, Ah. Exhaling blue light to space, Om. So the white light is the Om, the red light is the Ah, and the blue light is the Om, which is also the sum up all the healing teachings is the medicine Buddha, Om. When you do this for a while, you can feel the vibration of those 3 sounds. The clarity is the Om. The energy is the power of the energy Ah. And those 2 together is the healing result of bliss, which is no more judgment, it's very blissful. Boom. And right away you're transforming your mind with compassion, power, and insight as the nature of your body, speech, and mind. So you know where you're going with it. These are the first 3 Bodhisattva spiritual qualities. Compassion, power, insight, wisdom. How to use the compassion and the power. Then you visualize your Lama, man or woman teacher, the holder of the wish-fulfilling jewel, the Dharma, in front of you, and you visualize that she is the Tara. She is the spiritual, or he is the spiritual accomplishment of the 5 elemental spiritual qualities of your non-judgmental mind and the universe in harmony, working together. So you got 5 and 5, and you clasp your 2 hands together, and you got all together. That's this practice. And when you see your teacher inseparable from the Tara, it's because that's that teacher's practice. Bodhisattva practice, mind training practice. Then from the teacher's head, white light goes into your forehead. as the body empowerment to be the mind training illusory body of the Yidam Tara. And apply that to all sentient beings in your world. It's illusoriness. Then red light from the teacher's throat to your throat is the vibratory energy of those sounds coming out in your speech. The mantra of power, compassion, and insight. That's the second empowerment. Then the third is the blue light energy of the poem coming into your heart center from the teacher's heart center. And this is the accomplishment of wisdom, intuitiveness, understanding, knowledge, all of that, dharma. And when you can see those three lights shining simultaneously to you, you receive the fourth empowerment of union. So the teacher, as Tara, moves into you. Those three lights are planted in your three places, in your head, throat, and heart. And you become one of the 5 Tara color codes. We're going to start with the green, the air. We start with her because she's the action Tara. It's all about activity of practice. And the activity is to simply accomplish auspicious, which is my name, Tashi, on the spiritual level of the body, speech, and mind to quickly transform into compassion, power, and insight. That of auspicious situation, circumstance. And when you become the green Tara, it's like water into water. So there you are, young, beautiful, smiling, dressed in silks and jewels, 5-jewel crown. All these symbols I'm mentioning are simply that, symbols. And you're like a hologram, illusory. Your right hand is open in supreme generosity. Your left hand is holding the thumb and ring finger in the stem of the lotus. It's your left ear. Which is like, how do you come into this world as a bodhisattva? It's like a lotus coming up out of the mud through the water into the air, receiving sunlight and being beautiful. So that's what this symbolizes. The relative and ultimate loving kindness. You're sitting on a lotus with the sun and moon disk as your seat. And your backrest is a stainless moon, lighting up the darkness of the world, emanating as Tara. Once you can see this clearly, your ordinary body is gone. You're this spiritual entity, Tara. Yes, you have a greenish tinge to your aspect. There's 5 colors of radiant light, rainbows and flowers around you as your sphere of influence. Then you visualize the mother that created you out of the 5 elements in front of you. Life-size mirror image holographic. Just like you put on one of those new techie glasses. Then you start to project this image of Tara to your father, friends, and relatives, all your karmic drama world connection. Even your adversaries, your enemy. Now you have a large group of taras around you. You're creating a mandala, which you took refuge in the Yidam mandala. Then you expand it to 8 billion humans which inhabit the planet today. Then you project it to all the infinite animals in the ocean and on the land as Tara. And all this life support system are also the entire universe of spirits, the 4 categories of spirit as Tara. So you filled your mind with this bodhisattva imaging code. This causes the vibratory sound of the mantra of compassion, power, and insight to appear inside a 5-colored sphere of light in your heart center with a green tom enclosed. Tom looks like the letter 5 with a dot over it. 3-dimensional. And you have the Tara mantra, Om, Tara, Ra, Tu, Tara, Re, Tu, Re, Svaha. We say Soha in Tibetan. And while you are visualizing yourself and infinite beings in your mandala as Tara, you sound this mantra to proclaim it to all the beings in your body and the world around you. And that is the practice. That is the code of all the 5 Taras. Om Tara Tu Tare Tu Re Soha. 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 Now, once you've recited this mantra 21 times, at least 21 times, because there's 21 qualities of Tara, then you proceed to do whatever elemental Tara you wish to accomplish for healing, not just for yourself, but for people you have karma with, friends, relatives, associates. Maybe you're practicing some healing modality to treat disease or illness. So we're going to move from the green Tara to the color code of the black Tara, or light of blue, color blue, dark blue, or black. And the seed cell is MAM, M-A-M. And it looks like a 21 with a dot over it. And it's the vibratory sound of the element water. And you place that in your heart center right over the tom. So the tom is the basis of all of these. The actions are producing this code for healing, just like you did one of the 5 elements. Like we use this blue sphere for the water, so now we're using the dark blue for black Tara. And we add the sound of her mom to the mantra Om Tara Tu Tara Turi. And then we add mom, and then we connect that to one of the 5 Dhyana Buddhas. Well, the one that's connecting with water is the one we say of no separation or total integration. And that one is the home, which is the all spiritual healing energy, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, is all in that sense. That's one of the 5 Dhyana Buddhas. This state of no separation, unity. It was the 4th empowerment of the empowerment you just received, the Tara, which covers everything we're doing that has anything to do with this Yidam Tara. You have received the empowerment. Now you are receiving, that's called the wand. Now you're receiving the tree and the loom, which is the mantra and how to use it. So now you are dark blue Tara with the mom in your heart center, surrounded by a sphere of 5-colored light. And the mantra you're going to sound is because you are projecting that to your mother and all mother sentient beings in your mandala. All the animals, humans, and spirits in the entire universe are this symbol, illusory body symbol. So you add mom and whom. Om Tara Tu Tara Tu. Mom Hum So. 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 And you allow that one to disappear into space. And out of space appears the sound of the 2nd Tara, which is the Ram, the red Tara. And when you sound this one, the sound Ram appears in your heart, overlapping the sound Ram and Tom, and connects to the Dhyana Buddha of the fire or radiance energy of everything you think and see with your eyes is this red Tara. She is called Pema or Lotus Tara, and she is red in color. And all the deities in your mandala are the same color code. And they all have this Ram in their heart center, this red Ram on, if you want, on a lotus, surrounded by a five-colored sphere of light. And the Ram connects to the sound of light itself, D, which is the Buddha field of discerning awareness or radiance, or what we call natural mind's awareness, non-judgmental awareness. So you add those two sounds, Ram and D. Om Jar, your red tar, your mandala, all infinite beings, red tar.
Is it three? Three?
Oh, excuse me, three. Did I say D? Excuse me, three. Om Jar, two Jare, two Ram, three, so high. Om Jare, two Jare, two Ram, three, so high. Om Jare, two Jare, two Ram, three, so high. Om Jare, two Jare, two Ram, three, so high. Om Jare, two Jare, two Ram, three, so high. Om Jare, two Jare, two Ram, three, so high. Om Jare, two Jare, two Ram, three, so high. Om Jare, two Jare, two Ram, three, so high. Om Jare, two Jare, two Ram, three, so high. Om Jare, two Jare, two Ram, three, so high. Om Jare, two Jare, two Ram, three, so high. Now with the 21 recitations of this for a full mala, then we go to the next Tara, which is the third Tara, golden color or yellow. And her seed soul is Lam, Lam, and it's connecting to the Dhyana fluid family of the Ratna family, Tram, is that sound. And we add those two to the mantra, and then mandala is your gold or yellow Tara, all of the beings, sentient beings in your mind, animal, human, spiritual, the gold Tara. And the Ram overlaps the other sounds in your heart center, becomes the predominant seed soul, the golden color, surrounded by a five-colored sphere. Om Jare, two Jare, two Ram, Cham, so high. Om Jare, two Jare, two Ram, Cham, so high. Om Jare, two Jare, two Ram, Cham, so high. Om Jare, two Jare, two Ram, Cham, so high. Om Jare, two Jare, two Ram, Cham, so high. Om Jare, two Jare, two Ram, Cham, so high. Om Jare, two Jare, two Ram, Cham, so high. Om Jare, Ram, Cham, so high. Om Jare, two Jare, two Ram, Cham, so high. And we allow all that to dissipate into space, and we move to the next seed tone, which is Yang, which is the green Tara of the air element in action, connecting to the Dhyana Buddha Yang Ah, which is the sound of energy. That Buddha field has the action mode of the Bodhisattva. Then you apply it, you now again green Tara, then all of the mandala green Tara, the ball sentient being. And the Yang is incorporated into your heart center in green, with a five-colored sphere around it, and the mantra is sounded surrounding it. So you're visualizing that all Well, you're sounding this mantra. Om Jari Tu Jari Tu Yam Om Solam. 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 Om Jari Tu Jari Yam Om Solam. Om Jari Tu Jari Tu Yam Om Solam. Om Jari Tu Jari Tu Yam Om Solam. Om Jari Tu Jari Tu Yam Om Solam. Om Jari Tu Yam Om Solam. Om Jari Tu Jari Tu Yam Om Solam. Om Jari Tu Yam Om Solam. And 21 recitations are a full mala. Then you allow that to disappear into space and you replace it with the space star, which is bomb. The bomb looks like a white square with a dot over it, and it's placed inside a five-colored sphere in the heart, overlapping the other seed cells. It becomes the predominant one. The mantra surrounds it, and it's in entire heart center is white tar. Now, white tar is connecting to all 6 rounds of sentient beings. Excuse me. Of all the animals, humans, and spirits are now white tar in your mind, in your mandala. And you sound the mantra, visualizing the seed bubble of the mantra and the radiant light energy going everywhere to everyone in your mandala in space, and they're all clear of judgment. And the seed bubble you're connecting to is Om, Vam or Vam, and Om are attached to the Tara mantra. Om Jari Tu Jari Tu Vam Om So. 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 Om Jari Tu Vam Om So. Om Jari Tu Jari Tu Vam So. Om Jari Tu Jari Tu Vam Om So. Om Jari Tu Jari Tu Vam Om So. Om Jari Tu Jari Tu Vam Om So. Now, whichever Tari you choose for your session is up to you. But the best reference sheet for this is the one I give to everybody. Is these 5 elemental symbols are the 5 Tara color codes with the mantras we just discussed. And each of those elemental symbols, Ram, Lam, Yam, Bam, Mam, are in this bright color. And what connects these to your inner states of 5 applied states of discerning awareness are the 5 spheres of the 5 Dhyana Buddhas, which was the second letter we added. Om, Chum, Hom, Ah, Om, Cham, Kri. Those 5 Dhyana Buddha sounds. And what they are is treating, this is treating symptomatically disease, unstable mind. This one is treating the cause. So you're connecting to both aspects of spiritual healing physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually with these Tara practices. There's nothing beyond this in spiritual practice. And there's no supernatural about it. This is totally who we are, naturally. Not just physically, mentally, emotionally, but spiritually. We are this universe. Our thoughts create our world. That's it. So everybody should have this. It's on the website. Now, what do you do at the end of your deity yoga practice? Regardless of what deity you use. Tara, Chenrezig, Manjushri, Mahakala. I've been teaching the Lotus Pema Chondro. Then we taught a two-arm what's the one I taught? Two-arm Mahakala. Black, two-arm. But regardless of which deity yoga you practice, Vajrapani. Regardless of which deity yoga you are practicing, at the end of the session, it's a two-part session. The creation sound of the mantra deity, all of that is the first part of the tantric practice. The second part is called the dissolution stage into non-judgmental mind or voidness. So we're going to do that now. It's called the accomplishment stage of tantric practice. And it is absolutely necessary that you do both in every session. So what's the easiest way to accomplish? The way I was taught was to take all the deities in whatever mandala, let's say green Tara mandala, take all those green Taras, infinite in number, into you as the central chakra and see yourself in the sky of your mind. In union with infinite sentient beings. This is a bodhisattva function of the non-judgmental state of awareness. Then you disappear your symbol, your illusory body symbol as the Tara, into the seed symbol of that practice. Now I'm going to use Tom. Then that seed symbol may be on a lotus sun and moon disk, if you can do that. It's enclosed in a 5-colored sphere of light, which symbolizes all the elemental energy of the universe together with all your functioning, non-judgmental mind state of awareness. Where does it go? To space. Nowhere. Mr. Nowhere Land. Mr. Nowhere Man or Woman. Disappear it. You can shrink it down to the particle and access spatial awareness. That way you can expand it to the totality of the universe, which doesn't have a boundary, just like you did in the 5 elements practice. Relax in non-judgmental mind, like faith. In the timeless present. No past, no future. Everything that you can think of or sense in the present immediately is in the past, so it doesn't exist. That's it. Contemplate void. Ultimate of the ultimate of your non-judgmental awareness. And it becomes awareness of the drama field has nothing whatsoever. Totally a mirage, an illusion, a dream, like a dream. When you get that, in the present moment, you're liberated from yourself. And you contemplate it. And the more you contemplate this state of non-judgmental mind, ultimate awareness, the lighter you will be in your human form. It's like an overweight person losing 50 pounds. It's like a wealthy person losing all their wealth. It's like a hard-working person reaching retirement. So it's no big deal. It's just becoming what you really are. A Buddha. Powerful, compassionate, and understanding everything. Then you can start to help others become liberated. And that's the fun game of Bodhisattva training school. Then when you finish the second stage of contemplating voidness, non-judgmental mind. You arise for your non-formal affairs, whatever you do in life, as the deity. Then with practice, all sound becomes the mantra night and day, in your dreams, awake or leaving the body. That's the benefit. That's the practice. Creation stage, dissolution stage, merge it with the drama world. Then dedicate the virtue of this practice to all your lovers, friends, relatives, pets, equally. And this is the way they said it at the Jodo mission. This is termed the dedication of merit for all. In Japanese, it's Soko Ge. I'll read it in Japanese and then I'll say it. Kane shiku doku byodo sei sai do otsubo dai shen ojo anra goku. And that means we aspire for those merits and virtues to be equally bestowed upon all sentient beings. And may we all together develop the aspirations for total enlightenment to achieve birth in the pure land of peace and bliss right now in this place today. And then we have our Bodhisattva dedication prayer. Ewa di nerdu da, shadya champo du girni, jowa chinking maluta, lei sala go persho, sanjay kusu nimpai jimla don, choni megur dimpai jimla, gendu miche dumpai jimla ki, chita goma momam jupar shtu. By this virtue of having realized Mahamudra, man quickly establish all beings without a single exception in that state. By the blessings of the three vehicles of the Buddha being accomplished, by the blessing of the truth of this Dharma of Mahamudra, non-judgmental mind being unchanging, and by the blessing of the wishes of us, the Sangha, being unwavering, may this dedication prayer be fulfilled. May all the lamas have long life, good health, happiness, and prosperity, and may all their wishes be fulfilled. May all sentient beings be happy, free of suffering, established in bliss, and non-judgmental mind, equanimity. And we say, Mahalo, Juchiche. Thank you.